Hi, how are you? It's me, Hassan. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining today.
Happy to. Glad to be here.
Thanks.
We're
So, am
waiting
I
for you.
telling your name right, Samantha?
Yes, Samantha.
And then Bitewell, right?
That's right.
Perfect. So, should we start?
I am waiting on Chris.
Okay, sure. No problem.
I think
Yep.
we can
Okay.
get started. And Chris will hop in.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So, Samantha, thank you very much for joining today. And I'd like to know a little more about the recent funding of Bitewell.
Absolutely. So we raised an oversubscribed $4 million seed round. It was led by Refinery Ventures and Lead Sports' Lake Nona Fund, with participation from a lot of great other VCs, some of whom had invested in us pre-seed and were coming back to double down, and some of whom were new to us this time around.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about how did you come up with the idea of the company, if you don't mind?
Mm, absolutely. Great question. So this is a great time for Chris to hop on. So um, I'll tell the story by telling you a little bit about Chris. Sorry, Chris, I'm going to talk about you while you're in the room. So Chris has founded a bunch of different food and bev companies. The most recent of which he had sold to Keurig Dr Pepper in early 2020. And as Chris was working on these companies, this is weird to do, Chris, while you're here, but I'm going to do it anyway. As Chris was working on these companies, he was generally like the biz dev partner, traveling around the country. Realized that it was really hard to figure out how to eat well on the road. And from that spark of insight around eating well on the road, Chris and I started working together, diving deeper and deeper and deeper into this collision that we saw coming around the intersection of the food industry and the healthcare industry, and really treating ourselves through food. This has now earned the category title food as medicine, which was not, a very popular category title in early 2020 when we were exploring. So the food as medicine category has really evolved over the last 3 years. When we did some deeper research into this intersection of the food industry and the healthcare industry and where we saw the world going, what we realized is that we're spending as people about $3.75 trillion a year treating diet-related diseases. However, less than 0.5% of total benefits or total rewards spending in the US today goes toward food or nutrition benefits. And so there's this huge chasm between the size of the prize if we can solve this problem and the current investment through the channel that to us seemed quite obvious, which is benefits. And that's how we came up with the concept of Bitewell, what we've built today, and the category that we're creating, which is food as a health benefit.
Okay, that's a great answer. And a follow-up question. Should I think that you guys are solving a trillion-dollar industry?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know. And anybody from the meeting can jump in and answer. Not a problem. Feel free to do that. It's just a conversation that we are having, and I'm glad that all of you could join. And any specific technology or any innovation that you guys are trying to implement with the new funding?
Yeah. So underlying Bitewell's food health benefit, there are two pieces of core technology. There is one algorithm that we have developed that assigns health attribution to the food supply. And to date, we've done this for about 85% of the US food supply. The other algorithm that we've developed takes those health attributes as assigned to food, matches them to health attributes as assigned to humans, to users, and generates what we call a food health score. That score ranges from 0 to 10, and it helps you to navigate when I'm looking at a restaurant's menu or when I'm looking at the 35 protein bars available to me at Kroger, which one I'm going to choose optimized for me, my health needs and my health goals. And so current funding, or kind of the most recent funding round, will go toward, further development of those algorithms, those pieces of technology, in addition to growth and development of our sales team and partnerships.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so can you tell me about your how can I approach to this? Okay, your long-term goal of the company. Like, you don't have to share something that you don't want to share. I totally understand, but I would like to say long-term, maybe 2 to 3 years, not 20 years. Right.
Sure. So I'll bring it back to our mission. Our mission as a company is to improve the world's health through food. So there are lots of implications there in our 20-year vision. Over the next 2 or 3 years, our hope is that every employer in America is offering food as a health benefit through Bitewell, not just for the treatment of diet-related diseases, but ultimately for the prevention of them through food.
Okay, that was a great answer. So, any competitors or anything that you guys are facing as like in a competition or something? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So what's really interesting, I'll kick this one off and then I want to pass it over to Chris. What's interesting about the food as medicine category broadly is that it's very wide. It includes all types of things from, produce box shipments for diabetes patients to medical devices that are focused on tracking blood glucose and everything in between. And so at the highest level, yes, there are many, many entrants to the food as medicine category, some of which will go on and become mainstead companies, some of which will die. To help ourselves combat that a bit and to create focus, we have built a vertical category inside of this food as medicine horizontal umbrella called food as a health benefit, right? And there really aren't any other companies doing what we're doing in the way that we are. So at the highest level, yes, tons of competition across food as medicine. In the very specific vertical we've created, no one yet. But Chris spends more time talking to customers than I do. And so, Chris, what do you think is our biggest competition out there in the world today?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a ton of competition in the world of access to healthy food. There's a big issue around social determinants of health and trying to get people food across the country who may not have access or may not be close to a Walmart, which is 20 miles away, or a McDonald's being the closest restaurant down the street. And there's tons of competition there that could potentially make their way into food as a healthcare benefit. But for us, being the first entrant into the space, focusing on companies the way that we've done, there's not a real core direct competitor. All we're really seeing is a lot of coaching platforms trying to help with behavior change, which is really important, but not a core part of our business model as it relates to the coaching side of the business. So all that to say, coaching is a big focus in the world of corporate wellness, but it's been seen as a little stale. And our product drives behavior change without the traditional coaching model, which is super important to us. So that's what it looks like to us today.
Okay, perfect. So, a follow-up question: what sets apart from the competitors? If you can give me like one-line answer, or
Chris, you want to take it?
Yeah, I think Sam mentioned some of it. Like, we have a food health score, which really helps educate consumers. But the really big, beautiful thing that we do is we tie that education to action, and we allow consumers through our connection with commerce to take an action in the education that they're getting. They can buy the food that is most recommended to them. On top of that, like I mentioned before, Medicare and Medicaid is doing a lot in the food as a benefit space for those who need chronic condition management, but that's focused on that environment, again, not the company environment. So we're focused on organizations that are trying to pioneer, especially the early adopters, food as a healthcare benefit in the employer space. That's what we're focusing on. There's not a lot of other folks there right now.
Perfect, perfect. Um, what's the scaling plan like? If you wanna go really, really big, definitely you guys are gonna need more funding. But what's the scaling plan from the inside of the company?
Yeah. So, um, what's helpful is that the healthcare ecosystem and the way that a new benefit moves through the healthcare ecosystem is somewhat defined. And so, you know, ultimately, if we want food as a health benefit to be available via every employer plan across America, we'll need to have an insurance code created for food as a health benefit, something that can be reimbursed back. And so that is kind of, broadest picture what's required for the largest scale growth that we're looking for. But in the meantime, we need to prove that our solution works. And so we're partnering with a variety of payers and employers, both self-insured and commercially insured, and channel partners to prove that Bitewell's self-service model of food as a health benefit, navigating the supply through our food health score, works. Once we have that proven, we'll be able to unlock everything that we need to unlock for growth.
Okay, awesome. Any partnership or collaboration plan or anything going on at this moment?
Many, but none that we can talk about yet.
Okay, no, I don't want to ask anything that you don't want to talk about. Maybe a hint.
Maybe a hint. Sure. We have several payer partnerships, channel partnerships, and self-insured employer partnerships in the works.
Okay, that sounds good. Um, okay, uh, listeners, whoever is listening, if you guys can figure out, let me know. Okay. Any plan to add any features to the Byte or Well platform later on that you can talk about at this moment? Maybe
That we can talk about.
that you can talk about. Let's say any feature that you want to add later on.
So right now, our focus is really on doubling down on that food health score, making sure that it is applicable and flexible for all types of diet-related conditions and health goals, and that it covers as much of the food supply as humanly possible. So right now, feature expansion is focused on strengthening and doubling down on the things that exist. Lots planned for the future, but we need to get what we've built perfect first.
Okay, that's awesome. I went to the site and it seems pretty good. Whoever worked on it, it's a pretty good site.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'd also like to know a person, Samantha, like not the business person or the startup co-founder. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I would like to know about you, like school or maybe work or a little bit of family. Yeah, please.
Me as a person.
Right.
Am I allowed to be a person outside of being a founder? I don't know.
Uh,
Sure. So I grew up in the Northeast. I went to NYU. I actually have an acting degree, so that is my trade. I chose not to do much with it other than use it every day. But coming out of NYU, I spent about a decade in the beauty and financial services industries across companies of all sizes. So as small as, the first employee at a beauty brand with no revenue, as large as running global brand strategy for Clinique under the Estee Lauder company's umbrella. And in the middle of my beauty career, I spent some time out at Bridgewater in an internal management consulting type of role within the research analytics department, working for Nir Bardea, who's currently their CEO. So that's a bit about me professionally. And then as it relates to food and food's impact on health and why I'm passionate about this space, I have had lots of food related issues myself and in my family. And so navigating food for my own health has always been a challenge. And that is why, when Chris and I first got connected, which is a funny enough story all in its own that we will one day tell you over some cocktails. When Chris and I first got connected and he was telling me about what he was building, I had a ton of passion for it right away because I felt the problem as a user first.
Perfect. So you are a New Yorker?
I am.
Awesome. Me too.
Are
love
you?
New York. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been here for the last 15 plus years. Originally, I'm from Bangladesh. I grew up in Dhaka. I came here in 2008.
Yep.
And since then, I'm a great lover of New York. I love New York. Like, if I'm out of the city for 7 days, I feel very homesick. Even if I went back to my country, I love my country. I've been there 16 days. But when the plane landed, it says, "Hey, welcome to New York, everybody." I'm like, "Oh shoot, it feels like home." It was a guilt, but still, I love it. I love the
I
vibe. I
know.
love the liveliness of New York, drive of the people. I also went to Mountain View. The situation is totally different. I was invited once in 500 startup, a couple of times, but I went there once. And then you guys know Jason Calacanis,
No.
Uber's first investor. He's one of the greatest angel investor. So I was in his show, but still, New York is New York. No one can beat New York.
I know.
So yeah.
New York will always feel like home. I live in Boulder now, in Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
It's wonderful, and I love being able to put my feet in the grass, and do all those things. But New York will always be home.
Any plan to add any CDBC product in the Bitewell later on?
To add any what product? Sorry.
CDBC. It is called CBD product. My bad. CBD products like product that approved by the company. It's basically cannabis based product.
Oh,
Since you're
not
in Colorado, that's
particularly.
what I'm asking.
I mean, not particularly. We don't manufacture any food products, and we don't handle delivery or logistics. So, no, but I have a personal interest.
No, since you're in Colorado, they're the heaven for that. It's like
Yes.
right.
Now the new thing is psychedelics. Everyone in
yeah.
Colorado is trying psychedelics, but no plans for that either.
Any of you guys follow David Sinclair?
Yeah.
Andrew Huberman?
No.
Same type of guys. You might know him, but he's like another guy. Okay, we can talk about it later some other day. So Chris, I would like to hear more from you. So yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself, and we're having a nice conversation. I believe I'm liking it. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hassan, it's great to meet you. I'm from Chicago originally, born and raised. I didn't leave until actually formally 6 months ago when I moved over to Denver to join our team, our headquarters out in Reno. Personally, I went to school at DePaul, graduated in sports. Thought I wanted to be an agent for big athletes, but very quickly learned that wasn't the world that I was excited to live in, and got started with my first business alongside a couple of co-founders. Late 2013, which ended up being a plant-based protein drink called Koia. Shortly afterward, I got recruited to start a caffeinated sparkling water company in Chicago called Limitless. I mentioned that earlier in the call. And that dovetailed into what we've been working on in the last couple of years here at Bitewell. Personally, I have a particular affinity for food as health for a couple of different reasons. One, my grandpa would always take us to dinner, and every time we'd go, he'd bring his own hamburger bun. He's a celiac, and he would tell the waiters to put the bun in a microwave for a minute and then bring it back out and just bring a burger with no fixing, no bun, and he would just eat the burger on his own bread. And that was always just crazy to me, always embarrassing. So that was like the first time that I realized that there was a big problem, at least in the restaurant side of the world. And one other story, personally speaking, over the last 6 months, I've been battling my own health-related conditions as it relates to food. I got diagnosed with hypertension back in September, October, and through significant diet change, a bunch of exercising, I am now officially out of hypertension, which is super exciting for me. But using food to optimize your own well-being, your own health, has always been a personal passion of mine. So I think that's a little bit about me.
Of course, it's really good to know. And I've been to Chicago. Devon, do you are you familiar with Devon Street?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there. There are like right and left restaurants. There are like couple of hundred restaurants right and left in like
Oh
maybe
yeah.
50 to 100 blocks.
Yeah.
Like it's a crazy
Next time you're
street.
out there, you need to go to Randolph Street. That's where all the new restaurants are. They're
Okay.
amazing. Big Chef. I think Robert De Niro owns a hotel over there now.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. And any advice for first-time co-founders? Any of those guys or girls out there, like young one, let's say 20 to 35 age. Any advice? And tell me at least one mistake you made, if you can remember
Oh
any.
gosh,
I mean, I know you did. We all did. But
unlimited
I want
mistakes.
I want to at least mention one, two, or three, whatever you want to.
Sure. Well, your first question, any advice? I think the hardest thing of starting a business is actually going out and committing and starting a business. So if you're passionate about something, odds are somebody else has the same idea that you have. But what makes a big difference in the folks that are successful and those who aren't is they get up every day, they think about it, and they do it. So don't be afraid to do it, and don't be afraid to talk about it, because that's only going to motivate you more to be successful. And then as it relates to mistakes, again, I've made thousands, and you have to learn from every single one. But I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is the people you bring around the table are the most important ingredients in the recipe of your company. And when I met Sam, she was, I mean, she blew me away with her approach to business, her experience, and her thoughtfulness as she was going out and considering what we were doing, and not only thinking about the vision that I was painting, creating her own vision alongside it that we've been aligned on since the very beginning. So, most important lesson is find people that are passionate about you, about the problem that you're solving, as you are, and hopefully, if you're smart enough and you work hard enough, you'll be able to make something out of it.
Really nice answer. I really liked it. Um, okay. Is there anything that I'm missing for both of you guys? I'm asking, like you and Samantha. Is there anything that I did not ask in this session that you guys want to talk about? Like it can be anything. Like it doesn't have to be related to Bitewell, but anything that you would like to share, both of you guys.
Go ahead, Sam.
I'm not going to be shy about asking your readers for help if you would be open to asking them for me. And so if anyone who is reading wants to offer food as a health benefit to their employees or wants to pitch for their company to offer it for them, or wants to help us to navigate this very complicated world of creating a new healthcare benefit, we would love to chat, and I'm happy to give them my contact information to get in touch.
Awesome. That's really good to know. We also have a newsletter. I believe you already received one, maybe. And
Mm-hmm.
if you guys did, it's a closed door newsletter. I don't let everybody sign up. So it's like if you guys want to receive more, and maybe Chris, if he wants to, I can. You guys can give me the email, and I can sign you guys up. Another thing, if you guys want to run any type of campaign or advertise, there is two places that we offer. One is in the newsletter, another one is in our blog. So we have like pretty good traffic, but the reason that we offer it has to be related to our business, which is you guys are. I don't like to put any crypto related thing that is. I mean, I don't want to make money on top of that. It's bad. And then we can talk about it later. And most of the readers are VCs and the startup co-founders, mostly VCs.
Great.
However, I really loved that you didn't like shy out, and you just talked about it. It's good. Anybody listening, please reach out to her. And if you guys want to pitch or talk to her, just contact her straight. She's on. You're on LinkedIn, right?
I am.
Okay, and maybe on Twitter too. So Yes. Uh, so okay. So if Chris, you wanna add anything before we close down?
And Sam said it, the most important thing about starting a business is going out and selling your business. So certainly reach out to us. Aside from that, we're solving a big problem. You know, it's been a century of focusing on logistics and speed and convenience for consumers as it relates to food. We are now in the very early stages of focusing on health as it relates to food, leveraging what we've built in convenience and speed to consumers. So we would love to have anybody join us on the journey to provide access to healthy food.
Of
Thanks for the
course.
time and the platform you gave us.
Of course, of course. I really like the time that I spoke to you and Samantha, and I always feel happy inside when I can promote something that is good for the society and good for pretty much everybody. So, both of you guys, I'm really glad that you guys joined, and thank you very much, Samantha. Thank you very much, Chris, and feel free to contact me back anytime. Okay, and I would like to
Yep.
know about the next funding or anything that you guys do. Just you guys have my email. Shoot me an email. I'll try to put it in my newsletter, and its newsletter is free. It's been free for the last 7 years. I hope I can still make it free for rest of my life if I can. This is what I like to do. I like to share good stuff with the people that I admire. Thank you very much, everybody. Right? Take care. Bye.
Thank you. It was wonderful to
Thank you.
meet you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.